Hello everybody, my name is Michaela Nicole and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute. I think the last time I posted was in May of this year, and I just wanted to quickly address that. Basically, things were going really well throughout May. I had just gotten out of school, and then at the end of May, my childhood cat passed away, unfortunately, and it was pretty, well, not unexpected. It was just a really quick degradation, and it was really difficult. She'd been my pet since I was in kindergarten, and I'm now almost 20, so it was really difficult. So I kind of just stopped doing YouTube for a while, just because I knew that I would not be able to give the proper level of depth and excitement that I would want to, and I would rather my videos have been of a higher quality than that. So I took a little break, and since then my channel has been kind of skyrocketing. I mean, skyrocketing in the sense that I'm a small camera YouTuber, but I've got a lot of new people joining the channel as of late in the recent few days, so I just wanted to say hello to all of you. Welcome to the channel. I hope that you continue to find my content exciting now that I'm kind of back in, ready to move. And a lot of exciting things have happened in that span of time since May. I did go back to school, started my second year of college, excuse me. So that's been going on for about 2 months. I had the summer, of course, and now we're back in business. So in that time, I've made a lot of fun connections through my channel. There's been a lot of conversation in the comment sections and a lot of cool advice from people who have been doing this for a lot longer than I have, or people who have other tips and tricks, some of which we're going to be exploring soon in the next coming videos. But today I wanted to talk about a camera that I received and give you some information on it, because it's really different to anything else that's been on my channel, and I think just the history is interesting, and I think it'll be a good little jump back in. So this camera was kindly sent to me along with 2 others, and I received them in September, so it's been a minute. Like mid-September, and I'm now able to record some videos on them. So this is one of 3, like I just said. The other 2 will be getting videos as well. They're very beautiful, very awesome, and they all have their own little history to them. So we'll go through that once the time comes for those cameras. But today we're going to be talking about the Kodak stereo camera. Now, I'll put a link in the description box to the website of the former owner of these cameras, who very graciously sent them to me, and I'll let you check him out. But yeah, he gave me some really interesting advice about certain restoration elements of cameras, and I think they'll be really useful for the QP restoration, which is still in progress, and the restoration of any cameras I continue to work with in the future. So that was really awesome. And he sent me this camera. As you can see, there are 2 little marks there in the leather, and I'm going to show you why that is. So this is called the Kodak stereo camera. It was released between 1954 and 1959, and it's just very different to anything else that I have in the collection. So this is what it looks like. It's a really cool camera, as you can maybe see. Yes, there you go. There's a level. You can see it moving in there in the center, that green line. And it has 2 lenses and 1 viewfinder right there. As you can see, this is what the top looks like. And it's a really interesting looking camera, and I think the history and use of it is really interesting. Now this one's in a really pretty leather case. As you can see, it's locked in there. They didn't all come with this, but this one's in a really pretty one. And basically this camera, it shoots on 35mm film like any other, you know, good old point and shoot Kodak of the time, but it's special because it takes 2 pictures at a time, 1 in each lens. Now, this was in a time where there was a big fad around 3D imaging and making pictures look like they were 3D, and I have a sprig. It's a really good look for me over here. Anyways, it was in a time where 3D images were very fascinating and exciting. So the idea was that this camera would take 2 pictures, 1 in each viewfinder, and then in a special, I just said 1 in each viewfinder, 1 in each lens, and it would take a special viewfinder that you would put the film into and you could see the picture in the intended form. And the idea is that the 2 pictures would cross over each other. So if you have ever like been looking at something and then it kind of blurs, like if you look at your finger, right, and you kind of blur your eyes and you can kind of see 2 fingers, but you know there's only one there. It's along that prospect, kind of. So the viewer would make it so that your eyes weren't doing that work. I just heard a bug. The viewfinder would make it so you didn't have to do that yourself with your own eyes, and it would just, you know, blur the image for you. But I don't have a viewer yet, so that's what I'm working on finding now, because I just think it would be a cool accessory to have, because I don't really collect outside technology. I mean, I do have like a Walkman and a Discman, and I have a slide viewer and all sorts of stuff, but my primary focus on cameras. But since that item is kind of almost essential to the viewing of these photos, I think it would be well worth my time to go find one. So this camera, you would line your film, and it had a self-cocking shutter, and the purpose of that was to prevent you from double exposing your pictures, because it's taking them, I'll pop up a picture now to try and explain this better. Since it's taking 2 photos at a time, and the film is going to be stretched across this camera, right? So it's taking a picture on every other slot. So if you have the numbers 1, 2, 3 to like 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's going to take a picture on slides 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. And those coincide with one another. So it's taking a picture every other slide. So when you're gonna roll your film through to take your next photo, it had a mechanism to prevent you from double exposing on top of a photo you already took. And I'll pop up, like I said, pop up this picture. I found this on Wikipedia. The use rights are in the description. And you can see, I'll put some little arrows, but I believe the labels are 28A and 30A are the same picture, and then when you would look at them in a viewfinder, they would overlap one another and look almost 3D. So I'll also put up a couple of photos so you can try this yourself. You might need a small screen, and there are some tips that can make this work easier if it's not really working for you. But this is a photo by the same person who sent me these cameras. He showed them to me along with some other information about the camera. But if you look and you kind of blur your eyes, you might have to bring your phone up closer to your face. You'll kind of find the right viewing depth. The image, if you kind of focus in the middle, it should become one image at a point. You can also put a pencil or your finger a third or half of the way from the screen to your face, and it should help you focus that. And you can also put a piece of paper there or like a thick cardstock to try and black out some of the extraneous imaging that your eyes are trying to process. But if you don't have a viewfinder, that's a way to look at these photos, and that's what I've been doing, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it definitely does give that 3D effect that it was intended. That fad really died pretty quick in the 60s, but this camera was notorious even past its prime, so to speak. It was notorious for just being really easy to use. So a lot of people used it, and some people still use the now just for regular photos, and what they'll do is they'll take a picture and wind the film, and then once they get it developed, they just pick whichever one of the two pictures they like the best, and they'll use it as a single photo. Just because that 3D imaging process is not super efficient nowadays, and of course we have all sorts of different methods of 3D viewing now that I think people would probably be more apt to go for, but it is a very pretty camera, and obviously you would take it out of this case to be able to put the film in there. To get it out of this case, you just unwind this. It's kind of like a tripod mount, and you just unwind it enough that the camera comes on out of there, and this is what it looks like without its case. And here's the back. Now, as you can see, this one does have a little bit of I'll call it scarring. Just some paint chipping off, but overall it looks really good. I was informed that it struggles to get across with that automatic system that it has. Sometimes it will double expose photos, but this is the inside opened up, and let's see if we can, there you go, you can read that text in there probably. You can see the two lenses right there, so it would take a photo on this piece of film and this piece of film, and then it would roll across to the next and shoot again like that, just over and over. I think it's really interesting. I mean, none of the other cameras I have obviously do this. I'll read you the inside. It says Kodak stereo camera made in Rochester, New York. As per usual, use Kodak 335 or 135 film. And it's got two plates. Gracious me. It's got two plates right here. I should have seen that one coming. That cover those. That covered those lenses. So it's a pretty interesting camera. Obviously, we have a little strap holders on either side, so you can put it around your neck. I just pinched myself in this camera, and it kind of really hurt. But it's a pretty fun camera. It's got your light filter and your counter for your photos on the top. You can pick on the top, obviously, your different exposure levels. People do say that this camera is a little bit, not difficult to use, but there are some features that are on other Kodak, like point-and-shoot cameras, that are not on this one. But a lot of people say it's really easy to use, so maybe one day I will tinker around with it and see what I can do. We'll see if we can make it functional, but let me show you some other details around the edge there. You can maybe see there's different styles of photo that you can choose, and then on this side it's also got some markings for you to mess with, and it's pretty interesting. If you move one lens, both move, obviously, because they're supposed to be doing the same thing. And yeah, it's just a really interestingly made camera. I'm going to stick it back in the case here in a second, but I wanted to show you, this is fully just not fully relevant, but this case is a right case, top grain cowhide. I'll show you the logo in case anyone's wondering what this case is. It's really pretty. and it's in really good condition too, which is cool. And it's got some red corduroy, maybe burgundy, maroon, whatever you want to call that, on the inside. So it's really pretty, but I'm going to go ahead and stick it back in here. You just gotta line that up and then screw it back in. And it pulls the camera back in against the leather like so, and then it's back in nice and snug in the case for protection purposes. But yeah, that is the Kodak stereo camera. When it's in its case, obviously I showed you earlier, but it just snaps in the back for safekeepings. So another fun fact about this camera that is just about the ease of use. Because with stereo photography you're taking 2 pictures at a time, you want the picture to be level so that they line up. And in the viewfinder you could see the little level that's in there that I showed you before, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so I got to learn some new stuff about free viewing and about a whole realm of photography that I just didn't realize existed, which was the 3D stereo viewing photos. So I think it's really fascinating. And once again, big thanks to the lovely subscriber who sent me this. Like I said, I'll put his links in the description if you want to see that. He's got a big collection too of really nice cameras, and he's done some other cool photography stuff too, so go check that out if you get the chance, because it was very kind of him to send these along to me. And I think it just really adds to the history of these cameras, so keep an eye out. I'll be back next week with more cameras, more things to explore, and I'm back and ready to go. So if some videos seem out of order, or I say things that are a little off, like saying it's too hot outside or whatever, and you're like, Michaela, it's fall, just bear in mind, I have been recording videos throughout this time. I just haven't managed to upload or edit them, so they might be a little out of order. I might look different, I might bounce around, my hair might get shorter or longer, who knows. But hopefully things are still gonna be of the quality that we're used to on this channel. So thanks for sticking around. Oh, also, I'm thinking about maybe at 200, 250 subscribers, we'll see, because we're growing pretty rapidly now. I was thinking about doing a giveaway of a vintage camera. So if that's something that any of you would be interested in, anybody who's like a returning viewer or a new subscriber or anything, if you made it this far, leave a comment if that's something you would be interested in. And if it is, then maybe once we hit a threshold, I will do a little giveaway, which would be super exciting. And I would love to do that, give back to the people who are supporting me, and, you know, build our little camera community here on the channel. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already and you'd like to, hit the subscribe button down below to subscribe, become a member of my family, the little camera family that we're starting here on the channel. We're growing pretty rapidly, so stick around. You might get in on some fun action. Like this video, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see, if there's anything that you're curious about, or any challenges or questions, or anything you want to know. It can be about me, it can be about cameras, it can, you know, anything you want. Just let me know, because we're kind of in a new, not a new era, but we have kind of started fresh on the channel. You know, picking up where we left off, but I would love to know what you guys would like to see. Now that I've got a new growing subscriber base, I would love to know what you guys are interested in and would like to see more of. So leave a comment, hit the like button, and here's somewhere around here's the playlist with all the other vintage camera videos that I've uploaded. So go check them out if you're bored, and I will see you next week. Bye guys.